Hey there, fans of the Super Fun Time Show. This is Kevin from the Super Fun Time Show. And instead of doing a recap of the last episode of Survivor, instead, we're going to do a preview of the next episode of Survivor, which is going to be the Survivor 44 finale. And it's going to be really exciting. Tomorrow night, Wednesday, is when the finale is happening. I'm actually going to be in Brooklyn. I'm going to be checking out the viewing party at the Bryson Wen viewing event, which will be really exciting. A lot of former alumni are going to be there, including Eliza, old school crush of mine, and hopefully RC, my major old school crush. And we'll check them out. But I have a lot of other cool people. We've interviewed Gabler. We've interviewed Carla from season 43, and they're going to be there. So hopefully we get to see them, say what's up, maybe get some content for the channel, in addition to honestly just hanging out with some really cool people. So that'll be really exciting. But really what I'm getting to in this video right here is to talk about how I think season 44, the finale, is going to play out. How this ultimately is going to end in the game. We have 5 people left. 5 very deserving, very worthy people. Unfortunately, Jamie, who got voted out 6th, is not in there because I love Jamie. Jamie, if you ever see this and you want a long distance date, let's do it. Absolutely. I'm just gonna throw out all my feelings to former castaways right now. So with the final 5 of who's left in the game, I think that I laid out the story as to who I think is going to win, what it was going to look like ultimately in the end. And I think it's going to make a lot of sense. I'm going to go through my reasoning as to who's going to get what place and how very easily. So we're going to start off here. We're going to do one long video because I think that we can go through this. It's very well thought out, and I want you to hear my reasoning without any kind of breaks in my thoughts. I prepared very heavily for this, okay? So number 5, who's going to be taken out, is going to get 5th place, is going to be Lauren. Unfortunately, Lauren is going to be the last Ratu remaining, original Ratu, and she's going to be taken out at 5. The reason why I think she's going to be taken out at 5 is because I think Carson will win immunity at 5. And Lauren being the next big threat, that's not Tika. I think Tika is just going to straight up take her out. And I think it's been one of those things that's a long time coming. They've been talking about it. She's got these beautiful big shoulders and arms and just been kicking ass this whole time. And I'm really happy for her. I think she's an absolutely amazing person and absolutely gorgeous. The only thing is, that's a bummer. She's hiding in the logo this whole time. And I love this theory that the winner is hiding in plain sight, just like Gabler in the season 43 logo. She's been prominently displayed in the season 44 logo. So I actually would be like, my mind would be blown if she did win the season, because there's no truth to the theory, really. Gabler was on the season 43 buff, his silhouette at least, for the castaways that were out there playing. So obviously they couldn't have known. And same thing here. Lauren's on the buff for season 44 in the logo, and obviously she wasn't like superimposed afterward, okay? So I know this because Carla showed me her season 43 buff. Gabler's silhouette is on there, okay? So I think Lauren eventually is going to just be viewed as too much of a threat, and she's going to be taken out at 5. Now, I think the second most likely person to be taken out at 5 is probably Heidi, but I think she's going to be fine. Now, on to number 4. 4 is the biggest one because that's when fire making comes in. That's the pivotal point everyone looks at these days as to whether or not someone is going to win the game. Even if you win immunity, you need to think about giving up your immunity just to be able to get to the final 3. Which is kind of nuts in many ways. It makes sense because it is a part of the game. Everything you do is calculated and is a part of your ultimate end story. However, when someone wins immunity, you usually always take the guarantee. Now, Chris Underwood, bless him, even though I think I cannot put him as anywhere other than the worst winner ever, just because he spent the vast majority of the game out of the game. He's the one that basically started this trend. And if he didn't, he probably wouldn't have won his season. And we've seen how important it is. Last year, Gabler beat Cass, and who people thought Cass should have won the season, largely because he just took control of it at the end, and Cass shied away when people said, you know what, if she had done fire and won, maybe she would have won the game. So it's very pivotal. And at this point, I don't know who's going to go to fire against them, but I think the 4th place finisher, the 4th person that's going to be out this episode is going to be Carson, which is going to be a killer for a lot of people because Carson has been very good. Carson's lasted longer than I expected him to last. Now, based on the edit, I knew he'd be there a long time. I just didn't think he would make the final 5. So, pretty impressive on his part. And maybe we'll stop hearing about all these 3D printer gags. I don't know. But he's doing pretty well. Sorry to take a breath there for a second. He's doing pretty well. I think they've been foreshadowing the fire thing a lot. They've shown fire in his glasses all season. Probst thinks he's Scorsese these days with how things get produced and edited on the show. So I think that was basically a big tip off that Carson is going to lose in looking into the fire and he's going to be kicked out. Who he goes against, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think who would do it. Like, in my heart, I would really hope Carolyn wins immunity somehow because she hasn't really been that proficient in challenges. I hope she wins and says, I want to go into fire against Carson. And it's like she kills her baby. Like she takes like, not Bambi. Um, I can't think of the dog. She takes the dog out back and shoots it, even though she loves it, because that's what has to happen in order to win the game. And if she does that, I think her chances look really good. So I think Carson loses the fire either against Carolyn or Heidi. If I personally wouldn't choose to go against Jam Jam, I have an inkling that Jam Jam's probably really good at it. So I wouldn't choose him. And I know they hyped up Carolyn's fire making ability, which also makes me think maybe she's in there against doing fire. I don't know. But I think Carolyn probably beats Carson, but I definitely think Carson goes and gets fourth place. Now, third place, this is where we get to the final three, because obviously that means you have Carolyn, you have Jam Jam, and you have Heidi as the final three of the game. 2 Tika, 1 Soka. That's really cool. That's really unique. Unfortunately, it's not 3 Tika, and they wouldn't be the most iconic threesome of all time, basically. But that's okay. 2 out of 3 is not bad. So I think Heidi will get third place, which is really unfortunate. I don't think she'll get 0 votes. I think she'll get 1 vote. She's played probably a better game than people give credit to. But to be fair, this whole season has been edited to just be about Tika. Really, like if you're not in Tika, it doesn't matter. Except for Danny's like off the wall moments, like him doing tumbles and stuff. I don't think there's really been a lot. Jamie's been really infectious on the screen, but again, it was mostly about her fake idol. Heidi got a few advantages, but she didn't really use them the best, it looks like. And it's all in hindsight, okay? It's all in hindsight. So I think she has 1 or 2 friends from Soka, like Danny, that would probably vote for her. However, I don't think a lot of the other ones would. So I think she'll get 1 vote. I don't think she'll be a 0 vote finalist, which is great. But then you're down to Jam Jam and Carolyn as to who's going to win the game. This was very difficult for me, okay? I think Jam Jam and Carolyn are all-time characters on the show. I think they played awesome games. I think there are flaws in their games, but I think they played generally pretty awesome games. And they voted pretty similarly for the most part. They strayed 2 different times. Carolyn strayed earlier from Jam Jam, and Jam Jam strayed from Carolyn later in the game. But fortunately, their bonds with Carson kind of kept them together and really helped inform the game a good bit more, because Carson really had his hands in a lot of different pots, which is pretty cool. Jam Jam also had Heidi too. Heidi likes Jam Jam and vice versa. And everyone didn't really see Carolyn as the threat until an episode ago. Even though we at home knew the wheels were turning and she was doing really well, I think people didn't get that. Jam Jam is in this mode where if you write his name down, he votes you out. And that's something he's definitely going to mention if he gets to the final tribal. If everyone here is smart, Jam Jam's probably number 5. He's probably the first one to go in the finale. I don't think it's going to happen though. I think he makes it. I think he tells the jury, if you write down my name, you go in the grinder. Okay. And that's a big talking point because, someone like Danny will respect the hell out of that. Obviously, Franny will respect that. Brandon, all of them will respect it. They think it's great. Jam Jam's a nice guy. Okay. Now, where I get twisted up, I think Carolyn is going to be really well spoken to the jury. Okay. I think she talks to people for a living. She can understand the emotions, empathize, and feel when things are off. And Jam Jam's very good at that too. But I think Carolyn has something that Jam Jam doesn't going into final tribal, which is I think that Carolyn has the ability to surprise the jury, to surprise them with how well she's actually done in the game. And we can't underestimate that. That's a big deal. Because if you notice the last 3 seasons, I mean, maybe Erica in season 41 probably went in as the favorite. Season 42 and season 43, I do not think Gabler and Marianne were the favorites to win their season. I don't. I think season 42, Mike Turner was absolutely the favorite walking into final tribal. He blew it. Marianne snatched it away. I think 43, it was kind of up in the air. Like Cass, maybe they would have voted for him, but Gabler just really did well in the final tribal. I think if you do really well in final tribal, and if you can make the jury laugh, which I think Carolyn and Jam Jam are both very capable of doing, I think you're going to win. And I think Carolyn has a story, a background story that other people aren't going to know. And she's going to spring it on them in a very coherent and detailed way. And they're going to be like, whoa, like even someone like Danny, who probably doesn't respect Carolyn's game from the majority, will hear that and go, yo, she had so much going on. Like Carolyn, of all people, kept the Tika idol secret. That's amazing. You would think they probably see her being erratic and think there's no chance she could ever keep that a secret as long as she did. But she did. And that's really, really impressive, especially if Carson's on the jury. Carson's going to vote for Carolyn, I think. Lauren, I honestly, I don't really know at this point. Maybe Jam Jam. But I think ultimately Jam Jam will get second place, and I think Carol will get first place. But I think they'll be separated by one vote. I don't think it'd be very much at all. I'm just very impressed with the gameplay of this season. It's gonna be really, really good, honestly. There's been a trend of where the votes have been basically one person gets one vote, one person gets 0 votes, and the other person gets all the votes, right? And that's what's happening basically entirely in the new era. And I'm really excited to see kind of a legitimate competition between the castaways, which I think is going to happen. It's going to be really exciting. I can't wait to go to the Bryson Wen events. I can't wait to drink and overreact to everything on the television screen. It's going to be really exciting. Hopefully, Carolyn wins it. Honestly, any of them wins, I'll be happy. I think they're all really good people. Again, sad that Jamie's not there, but they're all really good people. But objectively, hands up, I think that the winner should be one of the Tika 3. And editing says it will be one of the Tika 3. But I would be thrilled if it were Jam Jam, Carolyn, or Carson, and I'll still be happy for Heidi and Lauren because I think they did a really good job. So here we go. Here's the hoping that it works out the way I thought it would. Last year, my predictions, I was like dead on, except for the fact that I thought Cass was going to win 6-1 instead of Gabler win 6-1. So, maybe my predictions will be really close and I'll get it just a little bit wrong. That would be nice. Otherwise, that's it. What do you think is going to happen for the finale? Let me know down below in the comment section. Love to chat with you about it. Of course, hit me up on Twitter at Survivor SFC because I love tweeting more than probably anything else. So talk to me on there as well. And of course, I have an Instagram as well, Survivor Super Fun Time. Think check. And always put some comments down here. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see more videos in the future. Definitely would love to talk more Survivor. We'll be doing a lot more in the off season as well. And we'll have more Castaway interviews in the future as well. Because I'm pretty excited. I've been trying to focus on season 44, but I would love to do kind of not a rewatch, but a rehash of older seasons as well while we get to the off season, which would be really, really fun. And remember, I'm giving away another buff. This one isn't going to be season 44, but this is going to be one from a previous season. Likely, it will be the season 41 Luvu buff, but I don't know. We'll see how I shake it up. I don't know. It could be an Uwa. It could be, I don't know. It could be a Vessi, the tribe of Cody and Jesse from season 43. Get a little Coco or Baka going. I'm not sure. We'll see how I'm feeling at the time. But if you hit the subscribe button and you're in the US, I'm like forgetting my words for some reason. If you're a subscriber and you're in the US, you're going to be eligible to win a buff from me, which is really awesome. So make sure to hit the subscribe button and let me know your predictions down below. Otherwise, hope you have an absolutely amazing rest of the day. You enjoy the Survivor finale viewing. It's going to be the greatest thing ever, hopefully. And remember, I have